The merger of Imperial Dade and BradyPLUS has created Imperial Brady. The combined company brings together thousands of employees, an extensive North American distribution network, and two organizations with long histories of growth, acquisition, and local customer service. In this exclusive ISSA interview, I am pleased to welcome Imperial Brady CEO Jason Tillis to get a closer look at how these two companies came together, how their cultures and operations are being integrated, and what the future holds. Jason, it's a pleasure to have you on Straight Talk.
Thanks, Jeff. Really appreciate you having me here. Looking forward to the discussion today.
Where do we find you and your family these days? I assume you don't stay in the warehouse all day long.
No, every once in a while I leave. I reside in New York City on the Upper East Side and still spend a bunch of time in Jersey City at our headquarters, which is where I am now.
I did live in Albany, New York for a while, so I
Uh,
did experience the New York scene many times.
Yeah, we cover that market now. We like the Albany market.
So I assume you cover all markets, but we're going to talk about that, Jason.
Yep.
So let's get right into our program. For those who may still be getting acquainted with Imperial Brady, how would you describe this new company?
So I guess the short answer would be a leading distributor of food service, Jansan, and industrial packaging supplies. I think what makes us interesting is if we elaborate a little bit, we just completed a merger on March 12th of Imperial Dade and BradyPLUS, two incredible organizations coming together. The combined business has 13,000 employees, 2,000 plus sellers, 3,000 plus trucks, 20 million square feet of warehouse space. This really incredible infrastructure that allows us to support the market. And what I think in a lot of ways makes it even more interesting and exciting is, and I'll spare you on the whole origin story because you probably won't have time for that today. But in 2007, when my father acquired Imperial, we were running a single facility. So that the business today is now 100 times the size of that original business. And to be fair, it was 50 pre-merger. The merger basically doubled us again. But I bring this up to say, like, the entrepreneurial mindset still remains, and we think that's super powerful. We used to talk a lot about that the big don't eat the small, the fast eat the slow. And the business we're building, we think can be big and fast. And we just think that's an incredibly powerful thing to bring to the market.
Now, I have to ask, how did it feel when you first announced this merger? Because I know there was a ripple through the industry. Did you lose any sleep, Jason?
It's interesting. I just mentioned in 2007, right? We had the single facility. I think you'd appreciate it. The business back then was undercapitalized. Basically, 50% of the business had direct New York City exposure, and we almost immediately entered the Great Recession, right? We used to meet every Friday deciding what vendors to pay. That's when I was losing sleep, right? The putting together Imperial Dade and Brady Plus was so incredibly exciting. Any sleep loss was a result of just excitement around the deal. I worry more about things I'll say that I don't know, but hey, what can't we properly plan for, right? If we have a capacity issue, we add capacity. If we have a tech issue, we make the necessary technology investment. And the merits of this merger were just so powerful. At no point did I lose sleep about, hey, is this a good idea or not? Because there's no question bringing these companies together made a ton of sense.
I love the honesty, and I feel you on those early days and
Yeah.
which vendor you're going to pay. I bet those watching might be some of those vendors. They might be thinking, was it us? Was it us?
Yeah. I think it was all of them, by the way. We had a much smaller vendor community back then, but I got to give our vendors have been incredible partners to us throughout the whole journey and continue to be today.
Yeah. Well, this merger certainly got the industry's attention, but talk about the assumptions or rumors that you had to correct since the deal closed.
So we've been dealing with mergers again since the early days. For a long time, it was, oh, we're going to sell. And then when we started doing a lot of acquisitions, it's, oh, we're going to go buy this one or that one. There were rumors that were so powerful. Like my father and I would talk like, did we miss something that like everyone's so certain this is happening that we weren't involved in? But no, we're obsessed with letting our actions speak, right? We wake up every day. We do what we think is the right thing. We communicate a bunch. We actually had a company-wide town hall literally yesterday We had a big event in Vegas a couple of weeks ago. So it's really about we're going to do our job right. We can't control rumor mill and maybe what people are going to speculate on, but I think over time people will see who we are and what we want to do.
How are you approaching the challenge of creating one Imperial Brady while preserving the strengths that made each company successful? Because individually they were fantastic, now even better. Talk about that.
Yeah, so it's interesting, right? Like so many of those experiences from the earlier days are so relevant now. So at least on the Imperial side, we had done 98 acquisitions pre-merger, right? Legacy Brady had done, give or take 70 or so and some really big ones. So we've spent the last 20 years, I would say, respecting the legacies and honoring these really tremendous businesses and great businesses while innovating and integrating and everything else. Like just to name a few, right? Like, and I can name businesses all day long because there are so many great ones that now are part of Imperial Brady. But like you think about Waxy, right? A North American. Like I maintain contact with Charles Wax and John Miller, right? And we're talking, we're sharing ideas still. And I don't think it's as hard as people think if people are willing to listen to, again, take the best of what was while finding ways to innovate and what's going to get us to the next level.
Can you talk about the employees of Imperial Brady? I mean, we have two companies coming together. Anxiety, was there any of that? What was the reaction? And I'm sure you're proud of them now.
Again, you think about the amount of acquisitions that were done, right? To me, people would get more nervous when we weren't making an announcement, right? Across 98 deals, there were days we announced 3 or 4 deals on a Monday and whatever else. Look, I'd be naive to think across 13,000 folks, there's not a certain level of anxiety. But again, we're very candid in our communication. So much of what we do actually isn't changing. We're big people around, hey, we believe in evolutions, not revolutions, right? So if we have a salesperson that's calling on Joe or Susie's Deli, like there's almost no reason that relationship would change, right? If depending on what your job is in the business, that job that was important last week is still incredibly important this week, and maybe even more so, while there's all the other noise in the market. And I think the employees and people part of the Imperial Brady family that have been around for longer probably understand this, right? The newer folks are, I think, now getting to experience it firsthand. But I mean it, the reaction from the team has been absolutely incredible. We've now had several town halls and I think about the Vegas conference, and I've done probably 50 facility visits. And I think I've started every meeting by saying how grateful I am around the employee response. And it's been unbelievable.
Testament to the culture you all have built there with now with Imperial Brady for sure. I love what you said about if when you were making an announcement about acquisitions, mergers, if someone wasn't involved, why not us?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I
exactly.
like that. That was probably a feeling many had because you folks were busy in that arena.
Yeah, it was a lot of activity for sure.
Yeah. Let's talk about this. Imperial Brady now has real scale and more influence than before, now
Yep.
that you're one company. How do you believe the company can help shape the industry's response to the issues we're all hearing about today that could keep us up at night? Labor pressures, automation, sustainability, supply chain challenges, all of those. I know that's a big question, but what do you think you can do about that?
Yeah, and I think there's like I could probably break it up into some different parts, right? So sustainability, right? Like I would argue, I remember talking 15 years ago about when we were primarily just food service, like how our food service packaging offering was the most sustainable and we had all the alternatives. So we've now dedicated more resources to that, folks that wake up every day thinking about sustainability and the reporting around that. But again, that makes good business sense. That's what the market wants. And we've always leaned into it. We anticipate continuing to do so. If you then think about labor, um, like we want to be the best employer in the country, right? In the world, depending on how you think about our scope. Um, and we want to pay fair wages, we want to provide good benefits, and we want to treat people properly. Like I've spoken constantly to the team, like I'm obsessed with, and it translates like we should be kind to each other. And kind doesn't mean not having tough conversations. It actually means having the difficult conversations up front directly so people know where they stand and can do what needs to be done. And I think that has translated well. And relating to automation, well, labor relating to automation, I think we're way, we have plenty of runway until, robots are delivering 25 deliveries in downtown Manhattan. So we're looking at practical innovation. We go to all the trade shows. I think the last time we looked, it was like something like 100-year ROI on warehouse robotics for our full case program, right? So we are absolutely obsessed with our team of drivers that they're probably our best salespeople in a lot of ways. We have so much respect for what they do. We think we have best in class, warehouse and operations folks, and we're doing everything we can to be the best possible employer for those people.
Thank you, Jason. So last question, what comes next? What do you want Imperial Brady to be known for? Any final words?
Yeah. So how do I give the brief answer there, right? So keep in mind, our average order size, as big as we've become, is still $800, right? No one order, no one event really matters. It's we want to be the best partner over time. We think, and we only win if our customers are winning, right? If our customers grow, we grow. If our customers don't grow, we don't grow. So we are obsessed with helping our customers be as efficient as possible. We are obsessed with doing what we say we're going to do and really leveraging our infrastructure and scale to be the best partner we can. And I think if we get this right, the marketplace will look to Imperial Brady as truly the best distributor there is that brings a ton of value to folks. And I also think with what we're building here, all stakeholders can truly benefit, right? I talked a bunch about the Imperial Brady family today, all the employees, like they should thrive here, right? They should have opportunities for growth. I think for the vendors, like there's just no better way to bring their goods to market than through Imperial Brady. And then obviously, all of those things together allow us to provide best possible service to the marketplace, which we're committed to doing.
That's it for this episode. I want to thank you for tuning in. Hit subscribe on the ISSA Media YouTube channel and follow us on your favorite podcast platform so every new episode finds you.